Go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is happening again. Welcome back to Indecent Disclosure.
Welcome
Thank
to
you
episode 20.
For joining us. That's kind of crazy to think about that we're actually pushing episode 20 now.
Pushing it.
Yeah.
We're pushing it for consumers.
We're putting it out there. Yeah, I don't know. Pushing 20. I don't know. It's like when you're 29 pushing 30.
But we're on 20 right now.
Right.
We've arrived.
Yeah.
We have arrived. It's number 20, Henny.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy to think about. I'm super excited to know this is still happening. We're still rocking.
Yeah, we are.
Still making the most of this podcast and this podcast room that we got set up. It's it's the jam, you know.
We're living the ballin' life.
We're living the podcast life.
Yeah.
I do say we are living the ballin' life though, because we're rich in love and we're rich in gratitude and happiness. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, big ballin'.
Big ballin', for sure. Big ballin' shot con.
So what do you got for us this week?
I just suddenly remembered that I do want to mention to the audience that Steven unintentionally came up with a DJ name for himself recently.
I totally am blanking what this is. Oh,
I know
it's coming back to me. Oh, Big Enigma.
Yep,
right?
Big Enigma.
Yeah,
DJ
that's a good
Big
one.
Enigma.
If I were a DJ, my DJ name would be Big Enigma. Big Enigma.
Oh my god.
It rolls off the tongue, it flows, it's kind of catchy.
Yeah.
Kind of quirky.
Yeah. We have like a list of band names in my phone and they have to just come naturally, like in the folder of there's a folder in my notes called band names.
Have we released those yet? I think we have. On air? No?
No, we haven't.
Oh.
Do you guys want to hear them?
We'll
have to recall them because my phone is recording, but we can do it. I think there's only like 4 because they have to come naturally in the life, and so you can't just like force that shit. Just like Steven was trying to describe himself recently, I'm pretty sure is why he's like, I'm just like kind of like a big enigma.
I don't think that's how it happened.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like me.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, because I stopped you and went, that's your DJ name, and it was like kind of a serious talk, but I remember being like, wait, this is serious.
I love that when we come up with these things and it's funny enough that we actually get a big kick out of it. We're like, no, you gotta write that down, because you do forget. It's like the band names thing where you're like randomly in a grocery store and you drop a can of peas or something, and you're like, that's a band name now, dropped can of peas.
Right.
But
it has to come naturally.
That's not actually one of ours. But yeah, when this stuff comes up, we definitely document it, because we're like, this is too good not to. Like, you gotta have this resource to look into. Like, you're starting a band, you need a band name, or you, our listeners, want to hit us up for potential band names for you. Like, hit us up. We got them.
If you use one, excuse me.
We're just going to need royalties.
If you use one of our band names, we're going to need some royalties. We're going to need credit, because these are too obscure and we will absolutely know. And we will sue the shit out of you. So
I only remember
don't
one.
Try
How many do you remember?
I remember, I think 3. So what's the one you remember?
AJ's Potatoes.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. AJ's Potatoes. So good. Okay, there's that one. And then there's Benny's Awake.
Yeah.
And then also Jesus is Lord, but not Jesus is Lord. It's Jesus 'S Lord. So like the Lord of Jesus. So I will repeat that for you. We have AJ's Potatoes, Benny's Awake, Jesus is Lord, and I can't fucking remember the last one.
I love that you have to describe it so that it makes sense. Like, Jesus is Lord. Like, it's not Jesus is Lord.
Yeah, not like the big billboards
the
you
Lord
see on
of
the
Jesus.
highway.
Jesus is Lord.
Yeah, like who the fuck is that?
Yeah, that's the guy.
That's the real question here. The chicken or the egg?
Oh, shit.
Jesus or Lord? Lord or Jesus?
I think we can just end that episode right there. That was plenty for me.
I actually have a question for you. Is Jesus Lord?
I don't know how to answer that. By definition, from what I've heard, By definition, yeah, I think so.
By definition.
By definition, Jesus is
I
Lord.
heard Jesus is Lord.
We probably shouldn't go there.
Okay, let's
But
not.
we will anyway.
But we really will anyway. I just always think of those big billboards where I'm like, who paid for that? Like, also I'm like, I know
church.
who paid for it.
Yeah.
The money from the people who
The
are
church
going, who are
goers.
attending the church.
For sure.
The church didn't really pay
Yeah.
for shit. It's the people attending
No,
the
they
church.
sponsored it.
And I'm like,
hardcore.
hey, you guys, did you know you paid for that? That's where your $1,200 last month that they collected from you went. I hope it's not that much. It's probably more like...
Depends on the church.
Depends on the person,
That's like
depends on
that
the church.
show Righteous Gemstones that was
Dude.
really on the backside of what it's like to run an organized church that is really high end. Not that it was like a realistic portrayal of exactly what's going on,
But it was
but
fucking hilarious.
it was a really funny show. What's that actor's name?
There's Danny McBride,
Danny
John
McBride.
Goodman.
Yep, there's
The
yeah.
guy from Pitch Perfect, Dave something Levine.
Adam Levine.
Adam Levine.
Yeah.
I just saw the guy in that show that plays what's his name? He plays like the ex-Satan follower that like joins the church with Adam Levine. I just saw him in some other show too. It was like, hey, oh my god. Yeah, that show is fucking fantastic. If you haven't seen it yet, it's great. It's a thriller. It's about the big mega church, like Steven said, and this fucked up, corrupt family behind the scenes of it all. It's great. I mean, John Goodman is in it. Hello.
Yeah, pretty much anything he's in, you can count it as a win.
Yeah, it's great. It's so good.
So we do have a couple big things happening.
We do?
The 20th episode is happening. That's a big thing. Come on,
Yes.
keep up. And also you have another birthday coming up, so that's very exciting.
Are you about to sing happy birthday to me on the podcast?
No, because it's not your birthday, so sorry, but
Well, we do have to record on my birthday or the day before, so
we'll reevaluate that.
if you're listening
option.
to this, my birthday is April 5th, so if you want to reach out to me, you should, because I don't have a Facebook anymore.
We're gonna drop our address so you can send her all her presents.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Probably not a good idea.
No.
For when we start to get hate mail, there's gonna be a lot of it, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely don't need to let our haters know where we live. But with that being said, I do have a question.
What?
What is the best birthday present you've ever received?
That's a trick.
No, not at all. And I did think about that because I was like, I guarantee it's not one of my gifts. I'm not the best gift giver.
Yes, you are. Yes, that's not a lie. Or that's a lie.
I think I'm thoughtful, and when I think of something or know something or find something, I'm really like enthralled to get it for somebody, but it doesn't have to be for like a special occasion thing. I like to make gifts be appropriate to the person or something they're going to use and that's functional that they'll really appreciate. I don't like to give gifts just to give a gift if I don't have something great in mind, because then it's a guaranteed letdown.
Yeah, I mean,
I think everybody's gotten something for their birthday where they're like, thanks, that's the least thoughtful fucking thing ever. Like, thanks for the effort, but also like,
we've even looked
whatever.
at each other when people have given us gifts and gone, thanks, and then looked at each other like, well, that was rude, honestly.
I would, yeah, no,
like,
I
don't, why the fuck would you give us this piece of shit?
me personally, I would rather somebody not give me anything than give me something that I'm never going to use or don't care about, and it's just going to take up extra storage in my house.
This is actually a great lesson for us to discuss, because our friends know that I was a total asshole to you last year about your gift, which it is a funny story, so I'm going to tell it.
Go ahead, yeah, let's let's get it out
And
there.
then I'll answer your question, because I still don't know.
It's a tough one.
I don't actually even remember.
Yeah.
how to make
No,
it.
it's hard. That's like a hard on the spot
yeah.
question for sure.
But so last year was COVID had just started. I mean, my birthday's April 5th. Like everyone's last day of work was like March 16th, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was right there. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. We ended up so this was probably one of the best birthday gifts ever, which was that my best friend Emily drove all the way from Salt Lake City to surprise me, and I had no idea. So that maybe was the coolest thing ever. She like texted me and said, something about, hey, like, I just want to know, oh, I texted her and said, did you get me this? And it was like this crystal pyramid thing. It had no return address on it. And she's like, no, I didn't, but I wish I did. My gift isn't as cool. It's coming tomorrow. And then I found out my brother had gotten me that gift, which was really cool. But I was totally convinced, right? And then she texts me like, hey, it says your gift arrived. Can you go out and check if it's there? And I go out on the porch, I'm like phone in hand, texting her, looking around. I don't see it, and I didn't hear any car pull up, and I hear music bumping, and I look, and I hear, woo! And she's got a bottle of champagne out her open window, and she has like the, what's the happy birthday song? Happy birthday to you. What?
It's some older like Tina Turner or something.
No, it's a guy. It's oh my god, plays the piano, blind. We all know him, Stevie Wonder.
I was gonna say Ray Charles, but I didn't think that was
It's a Stevie Wonder song, and it's like. It's just so great.
Yeah.
So
she plays it at everybody's birthday.
Yes.
Anytime there's a
It's the perfect
birthday,
birthday
song is going on.
And so she's like bumping it around the corner, and she has champagne out the window. I literally, because of me, start bawling because I had no idea whatsoever.
A very big deal.
She just drove 8.5 hours to like see me in the middle of a pandemic, which don't even fucking open your mouths, okay? My best friend came to see me.
Just
I don't give a fuck.
Go ahead.
We're fine. It was so great. That was probably one of the best birthday gifts that I can think of. And then a couple other girlfriends and Steven and I went to the winery down in Page Springs, and we sat outside and had a picnic and drank wine and took a little bit of acid, and it was fucking awesome. And we just went in the creek. We all stripped down to our skivvies and went in the creek, and it was just absolutely a magical day, like so magical. And then Stevie that day, so this is the asshole part, all right? No, this isn't the asshole part. This is like, it was a magical day. I didn't give one fuck about this initially. That's what the thing is. So that day, rewind, like from before Page Springs, Steven goes to Safeway like the morning of my birthday and gets like a card that says, you're old, but I love you anyway. And then a fucking...
You were 28. Go ahead.
And then like a
Shame.
little Safeway succulent that's like has the little tag on it for like $4.99.
I don't think I left the tag on it.
And I was like, okay, cool, thanks. Like, I honestly didn't really pay attention to it. I was so excited about the whole day. But then later on, like a few days later, our sister-in-law and his mom go, what did Steven get you for your birthday? And I was like, oh, like a plant from Safeway and a card, but it doesn't matter because we had such a great day. And they're like, what the fuck? And they start telling me like, that's not cool. Oh, babe. And then it's even funnier though, because Celine goes, that's what Paul got me for my birthday. You want to know what I told him? Take it the fuck back now and get me a real gift. And she's so sweet and so like soft spoken. I was like, you really said that to him? She goes, yeah, I did. You better believe it. Are you kidding me? Like, I was pissed. And I'm like, so did he get you another present? Hell yes, he did. And then Steven's mom goes, oh God, I know where this trend came from. And then her husband walks in the door and she starts yelling at her husband. He's just bombarded by Steven's mom yelling at him. And he's like, what? He goes, Sherry, wait, I got you a quad for your birthday. And she goes, that I didn't want. You wanted the quad. It's you. And I just was dying. So at first I'm laughing, but then I felt I gave into the peer pressure. And then I was like, yeah, that is kind of fucked up. Hey, what? And then I confronted Steven about it. Was like, why did you do that? and then it became a thing for like 2 weeks where I was bitter about it. And that's the asshole part, was that I even gave one shit because he's so amazing to me. I know this is so long-winded. You go.
I think it's great. I think what's funny is we were just talking shit on people that would give us gifts that we don't want. We're like, why even fucking get it? But then
Right.
also who, here we are getting a gift and saying like, we don't love it. What a dick. But,
Well, no, I think the thing that I feel like a dickhole about is that you do give me gifts all the time, and that's what you were saying
so
earlier.
that's why I'm like not super like just because it's a holiday or a special occasion it has to be this big thing. I think people get lost in buying each other gifts that are meaningless just because a holiday says so. Yeah,
or
because
it's like the pricier
a
thing.
show of a spend of money means something where the actual gift doesn't necessarily matter. When in fact, if I don't get you anything, it doesn't mean I don't think you don't deserve anything. I don't think, I just think there wasn't something worth getting you at the time, and unfortunately it becomes an inconvenient time to not get you anything because then you get in trouble for not getting them anything. So
he did get in trouble.
I will be honest, if you would have told me to take it back, I would have said you can take it back.
Oh, I would never. We're a different couple, honey.
You can return those.
I would never
whatever
say that to
money you get back from that, you can use to buy your present.
Take your $4.99 and get whatever the fuck you want.
Well, plus the
get
card.
Some Sour
I got her a
Kids.
card and I wrote something meaningful, but apparently
you
not.
You literally wrote your
not
old, but I love
enough.
you anyway. Love, Steven.
I don't know. It was early morning.
That's what you know. I was like, okay, fucker.
Women remember this stuff. It is wild to me. I don't know what.
Okay, couple comments though.
I don't know what anybody wrote on any of my previous birthday cards, but I do save them and put them away so that, if you ever need to reflect on how much people love you, you have that.
Well, when you used to get me flowers sometimes, wink, wink. You used to put notes in them. They were so cute, and I've saved all those notes. And I love a card. Like, words of affirmation is my love language. I love being told I'm the baddest, sexiest, like, most beautiful, amazing, wonderful woman in the whole land, and that you never want anyone... I could go on and on, but no, I, first of all, would never fucking tell you to returns. That is, Celine and Paul have their own relationship, so I'm not judging.
Yeah.
They honestly,
totally.
What, too?
Different works
he wouldn't be offended by that.
No,
that's
he wouldn't.
The thing.
He wouldn't care.
I want to let you guys know, she is a wonderful, sweet, adorable person, and she's not like a bitch. She just is, they're able to be extremely blunt with each other. I love that.
Yeah.
Steven would be very offended, rightfully so. If he said that to me, I would also be offended. Another thing here, now we have both learned our lessons. Because now you know that even when I say, don't get me something, don't do anything for me, that's a fucking lie, and you better figure it out.
She'll be highly disappointed if you do what she says.
Yes, don't do what I say, do what I mean.
Exactly.
And then I have learned the lesson that I shouldn't be a fucking brat. And
well, yeah, I think that's the thing, and we touched on that point, is that we get each other gifts year round, regardless of any sort of holiday or birthday, because it means a lot when you get somebody something out of context of a holiday or a birthday. In fact, I feel like it can mean more because it just goes to show you were thinking about them extra and not just because you were told to do so.
right.
And so sometimes when those events come up and you didn't plan for it accordingly, it can be a letdown, but I don't think that necessarily needs to be so. But also I think you need to know your partner and how they react to that so that you can effectively act the best way.
Mm-hmm.
Or do something, put on a show for them, some sort of gesture,
yes, put on a show for me,
or buy a present or something like
that.
Actually,
that's what I want for my birthday. Can we?
What kind of show?
I just got some Fenty lingerie. There's a hole so it won't squish your goods. I don't know.
Please
You tell
me
us
what kind
more. I mean, where can your imagination go, you know?
It's gone there and we've been there. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Welcome to Indecent Disclosure, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm wiggling around over here in my chair.
Well, we might have to take a brief break.
We'll be back in just a few moments. So
2 minutes later.
I think minute and 45.
I was too excited, guys. I'm sorry.
So we actually already went and came back, just to let you know. No, I think that's a really great lesson to or I don't want to say lesson, but a really great topic to discuss, because I know couples all over go through this same thing, and everyone is different. Like, you can't say that enough. Everyone is different. I have friends that they know that if they don't get the new bag, I don't even fucking know what any purse is ever. If someone was like, this is the new Louis Vuitton bag, I'd be like, well, okay. I don't give a shit about stuff like that. I understand, though, that certain people really do, and they want things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would always rather, go somewhere. I want to be taken on a trip or taken out to dinner. I want to go have little adventures. That's my thing. Gifts are great, but we have a small house, and I pretty much already have everything I need. Sometimes I need a shopping trip. That's real. My clothes... I grow out of what I want, mentally.
Right.
Sometimes physically. Let's be real, this last year I may have grown out of a few things in width. But I'm working on it. And I love you too. Yeah, I want to know though, Steven recently told me he has a list of gifts I can get for him in his phone.
Yeah,
He's so get in there if you ever are curious.
That's my thing, is when I get a gift and it's meaningless, I'm like, thanks, but save your money. I wouldn't be offended or upset if you didn't get me anything at all. In fact, I'm more upset by the fact that you bought into this consumerism, show of you have to get somebody something just to get them something, and now that Amazon is so prevalent, it's us wasting our money and contributing to the controlling factors of these conglomerate corporations. And so I think it's better.
A serious alliteration.
I think it's better to not get anything at all, and in my personal case, to not get anything at all than to get something that's meaningless, or something that I'm going to put away high on a shelf, or something that I'm never going to open and sell at a garage sale 5 years from now. I don't like wasting things that are extra but not necessary. I appreciate the necessary amenities, and not too many other things outside of that, other than things that, contribute to my happiness, things of hobby and leisure comfort. But
one time I tried to get you a welding machine.
A welder.
A welder.
Yeah.
See, it clearly wasn't the right person to go shopping.
That's a huge gift.
I was trying to get you a welder. I talked to your grandpa about it, and people in your family, and then everyone was like, you're really gonna get him that? It's like, why? I have the money, might as well. I want to treat him. And everyone kind of was like, that's a really extreme gift. I don't know. I was like, well,
I'd have been fucking thrilled, because something to that level it's something you'll have literally forever, and it's something that I'll use, not all the time. But here's the thing: in being in my position and the way that I am, where I like to build things and create things, you don't always need the same tools, but when you have the right tool for the job when you need it, it is 100% clutch, and just so convenient that 100 other tools can't replace the right tool when you need it. And so that's something that would be huge. But yeah, I created a list in my phone, because when I think of something that I'm like, ooh, I actually really would want that, or need that, or would really enjoy having that, same thing, even if it's only I use it a few times out of the year. So one perfect example is the last time we went to visit our friends in Salt Lake City. We went to Bear Lake.
Mm-hmm.
It was Bear Lake.
we did go to Salt Lake first. Okay, yeah.
So we went to Salt Lake, and then that was for our friend Emily's birthday, but we went up to Bear Lake, and we got to spend a bunch of time up there, but one of our other friends had this, I would call it like a professional grade kite, right? And so it wasn't like a little kid's flying kite. It had 2 controls, like very extreme aerodynamics, and everything about this was not like hobby grade. It was like a professional grade kite. And
cool.
I've never experienced that in my life. So I get into hobby stuff on like the pro level and get really into it and then kind of move in, but I still enjoy it and still have those things. But that kite, for example, was one thing that I thought was like really great, that even if I don't use every day, when you go out to the lake or when you go to the beach or when you go out, to the woods with friends, it's just one of those cool things to pull out that everybody enjoys, but it's something that I would really enjoy. And so
I keep
it's
fucking forgetting to buy it for you.
it's just stuff.
Rude.
So, well, now you can look back and re-listen to this episode and not forget, but my birthday's not for a long time, so.
Yeah, but it'll be the middle of the year again.
But yeah, so just something like that, or like light poi. So when we go to the lake with all of our family and all of the younger cousins bust out all the glow bracelets and they're like running around with them tied to strings, I'll tie them to long strings and I'll do a little bit of like kind of poi spinning. Not that I'm any bit of decent, but it's still fun and entertaining, but I would love to see them really actually play with some poi that the strings don't break on and the glow sticks don't go flying off on.
You want the kids to play with the poi?
Well,
not
they could. No, not fire.
Oh.
Not fire poi, just the light up, balls.
I see. I thought you meant fire poi. I was like, oh.
No, I would never
like,
try and spin fire. Ever. Yeah, no. But just stuff like that where I think about it and I'm like, I would actually keep that and then take it out and use it for as long as I had it every now and then. To whereas if somebody gets me, a onesie pajama, it's like a cool gag gift, but it's something that I'm only going to ever wear once, and then it's not ever going to do anything for me ever again. Yeah. Unless we have like a Dr. Seuss themed party, and then I'd wear it.
Which, like, when?
Well, right, that's not going to happen, especially now because he's been canceled, so.
Yeah.
But,
sure.
Yeah.
That reminds me, too, that I think there's a couple things here to break down. One, I'm going to guess that people listening to this are going to find it somewhat strange that you have a list in your phone and expect me to look at it. I don't know if we've discussed this before on here. I'm sure we have. But, like, my thumbprint is in Steven's phone and his face is in my phone. And we definitely, for sure, regularly look at each other's phones or whatever. And I definitely will be not sneaky. I will openly look through Steven's phone. And I haven't done that in a long time. It's mainly like I'm fucking bored. Like, I'll look at his Instagram feed because I'm like, this is so different than mine. But
it's a different perspective and it's nice when you look at that stuff.
You know why I haven't recently?
What?
I'm going to be real with you right now. I'm breaking news to you. First of all, I'm over it. You're too boring. You'll never cheat, which is the best. Every time I look through your
phone,
like,
worst compliment I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
You're too boring.
You're too boring. You'll never cheat on me. Let's be honest. Which, like, I wasn't looking to see if you were cheating. I more just was like, can I find anything inappropriate? Because I kind of like, it's like, I don't care who you are.
You just want to dig.
I'm curious.
Yeah. What's out there? You got to know the depths of the truth.
Yeah, I got to fucking dig. I'm a real digger.
I 100% support that.
You're so good to me because I feel like I would rather take your phone in front of you and look at it than do it behind your back. But I just don't do it because I'm like, there's nothing in there. There's fucking nothing in there.
There's a whole lot of clients contacting me about material orders and deadlines and estimates.
He has the most boring phone ever.
Very unentertaining to most people.
And every single, like, Facebook message or anything is always just like, is your truck still available? That's it. Like, there's no saying hi to old women from the past. Like, there's none of it. And then, like, this is the other thing. He texts or, like, talks to people so little, like, so seldom, that I do remember there was one time where I was like, there was a message or something from your ex-girlfriend, and I was like, oh my God, like, what the fuck? And I really thought I found something, and it was like from before we met. And I was like, wow, I really didn't have to scroll very far to even get there.
Yeah.
What the hell? And then the second I even saw it, I was like, okay, this is now being super inappropriate. That's not okay. Like, and closed it. Because it's not okay to, like, go digging through your past and look at conversations you had with other people. Like, I would feel grungy doing that.
You're more than welcome to. I've got nothing to hide, but I think it only stands to kind of harm you that, like, jealousy could arise from somebody you were talking to in a certain type of way, even though it's long before we ever met. Like, if I were to see messages between you and some other dude, I'd be like, fuck that dude. You know, it's just the way it is. But yeah, we're definitely super open, and I think it's just super important that you know those boundaries with your partner and just have that trust. But
I also do think that it's like, I don't care what anyone says, I think it's an extreme red flag if you don't know your partner's passcode to their phone.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's very weird.
Something to hide.
Like, all that shit on TikTok or whatever, like, I don't know if that's targeted at, like, the younger generations or what, where it's like, when he lets you know his passcode, or, like, when you find out his passcode, and then, like, chicks are fucking scrolling through shit. I'm like, I'm sorry, there is something seriously wrong with, like, if you can't get into your person's phone because they don't trust you, like, you have a lot of things to discuss. It's a very fragile
way of existing with a partner, because things can be shattered and blown up at any moment. I think a lot of people create that content just for viewership and to be able to blow up. Like, I think a lot of people are really good at creating that perspective and perception of that kind of scene or thing that's going on. But I think a lot of it's bullshit.
That toxic shit.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of the culture movement that you have to jump on the wave and ride it no matter what it is. And if you want to be relevant, you just got to do it, whether you agree with it or not. And hopefully that's the way it is. It's that people are doing it without being necessarily a part of it, just to stay relevant, because that's what they want to do nowadays. Excuse me.
Oh, you're good. I think it's also important that I note, I have nothing to hide either. Because I don't want to make it all about the dude. Like, it's not like Steven is the only one that could be inappropriate or be cheating, but I'm not either, so just want to put that out there.
I'm so glad you said that. I was so concerned.
Yeah, I figured you would.
No, I don't find the need, like, anything I can find on your phone, I can find on my phone.
Have you ever looked through anything on my phone?
No,
I knew you had, like, if someone guessed
I'm going to find boring conversations with you. Okay, I shouldn't say boring, that might be mean. But,
boring to you.
But yeah, conversations with you and your girlfriends where I'm like, I could care less. Like, what else is going to be on there?
And I have guy friends, which is a different aspect. You don't have, like, typically lady friends
even
that you
then,
talk to, but I don't typically text with, like, guy friends for long conversations.
Yeah, it's just going to be coordinating details of our next barbecue or whatever. So yeah, I don't worry, but the only reason I keep lists of stuff in my phone like that is just because I forget stuff. And so I am like, when somebody asks me, what should I get you? I'm like, I need something to answer with instead of just, oh man, I can't think of anything right now, but like, thank you. So
I think that's so well prepared of you. And also, I'm going to hop on a topic. Well, let's go to the break. A topic. Let's go to the break. We will gather our words. And just to let you guys know, I have not been drinking the last few episodes because I'm not drinking during the week. And we've been recording during the week a lot. So, and on Sundays. So here I am, being sober Sally.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Yep. All right, we're going to the break. We'll be right back.
Okay, I did not forget to press play this time. That was a thing on the last one, so muy importante. Yeah. You guys actually hear what we're saying while we're saying it instead of us having to recall what we said and then repeating it.
It's a doozy.
It's live action right now. You guys are getting the best of the best.
Yep. So, okay, I wanted to segue that into the other thing that has been a hot topic amongst women.
Does that store still exist?
Yeah, I think it does.
Side note,
yeah.
I haven't been to our mall in been like at least 5 years.
That's good. Our mall is a scary place.
Yeah.
Don't go there.
Yelp review 10 out of 10 would not
I
recommend.
think there's like 5 out of all
There's
the
a Foot
stores
Locker
open.
and that's it.
Yeah, there's like nothing in
By
there.
now everything's closed.
Yeah. So, on the note of notes in the phone and shit. So, most of my girlfriends right now, not gonna lie, are either already married, engaged, or like, yeah, they're already married or engaged.
Yeah.
So, I don't have like a lot of chicks to bounce this off of anymore. But I know that it's like some women do the whole like have an entire wedding Pinterest page ready to go and like have everything already planned. So I'm like, why the fuck are you taking a year to plan everything? You know you've had it planned for your whole entire life. Let's stop
You've been
fooling
saying
everyone.
that shit for years.
Right, I'm like, you're just waiting a year just to make people believe that you didn't already have this planned out to a T. I mean, so, you know, I'm not gonna lie, Steven and I have looked at wedding stuff on Pinterest too, but it's mainly like very niche things and like budget stuff, and it's been very minimal. But one thing that I originally was quite ashamed of and over time grew to be more accepting of is that I have a Pinterest page of engagement rings because I don't want Steven. It is my worst fear. Not really. That's a pretty lame worst fear. I would feel really bad if he proposed to me and then like a few days later I'd be like, thank you so much. But also this is really not what I wanted.
But also I don't want to marry you, so never mind.
Yeah. That's never in question, honey. It's that, you know, nobody wants to wear like a ugly ring.
Right.
Well, and you know, you have great taste, but you've never done this before.
Yeah.
So,
I'll be honest.
nor have I.
If I was going into this blind, picking out a ring, being this, I would probably fail dramatically.
I think you'd butcher it. I don't think you'd get it right.
I think I'd fuck it up and you'd be horrified. And I think you would hate the ring and then you would be horrified about telling me that you hate the ring. Yeah. But also, I think we're comfortable enough in our relationship for you to be able to say, like, hey, proposal was great, our love is great, the ring, not so great. And then we just take it right back and go get you whatever you wanted, because at least, you know, I'd have had a ring to propose with, and then it's complete and all that. So.
Well, I'm all about surprises. Like, I want a big surprise, so I don't want you to take me to the store and have me pick something out.
Right.
Like, I'm not that type of person. I'm like, you better surprise the fuck out of me.
And so I think that's a great thing when you have a list in your phone or a reference for me to check so that I can go into it not completely blind, and that way you're not 100% disappointed.
Right. And like, obviously I know that you have enough taste that if you got something, even if you said, okay, this is really cool, I know what she likes, but I found something even better or like something in a similar realm, I know you could nail that. But I keep telling him, like, don't stray from the general idea, okay?
Do what I say.
Yeah, I'm like, please do not go buy like some fucking ring you see at Zales. Like, I don't want that. I have a very particular type. And you know what else is funny about that? I finally told my girlfriends because I knew they would all make fun of me and be like, you're psycho, stop. And I finally told them I had a Pinterest page and they were like, let me see it. And then they looked at it and were like, oh, those actually are so pretty. I was like, yeah, I'm not a fucking monster. Okay? Like, what do you think?
That's so funny. Poor dudes everywhere, because now they think they can't just go out and pick out any ring and it'll be good enough.
You can't. Don't fuck it up. I mean, seriously, that's like, I know, it's
we
so
had one
shallow.
friend recently get engaged. Did they say anything about their ring?
I've had like so many friends recently get engaged, but are you talking about our two most recent friends?
Yeah.
No.
Did they say anything where they like the ring is not?
No, because her fiance had people go. No, her fiance had called her best friends and said, I need you to help me pick out a ring.
Right.
Which is the right thing to do if you don't have any frame of reference.
Right.
Please, Stephen, preach to the men. Tell them how important it is. Because typically engagement rings, I think, are kind of ugly in the first place. Like, unless they're super classy, like the rings you typically see, like from the, I don't know, like let's say 80s, 90s engagement rings, for the most part, blah. Like,
literally all of this is a fucking foreign language.
Yeah.
It's like me when I'm telling you about construction, or if I wanted to talk about laying flooring or laying tile and the different types of mortars that you can use, and whether it's an unmodified or a polymer modified mortar.
You're right, I'm glazing over.
Yeah, the different types of materials and tools you can use for a job. I mean, it's just so specific and detailed. Like when you say 80s and 90s engagement rings, I have zero fucking clue what any of those look like.
I guess what I'm picturing is like, there are a bunch of engagement rings out there that definitely go out of style. And then you just have a big, clunky, kind of trashy looking ring on your hand.
See, I can't picture. I don't identify any sort of ring or rock or anything, any sort of look towards any sort of detailed adjective. Like, when you say all those things, I have no ring in mind that is those things.
Mm-hmm.
I just think all rings are pretty and shiny, and that's just probably the dude way of looking at it. But
right. Well, that's exactly why we give you a frame of reference.
Hopefully you have, your girl's best friends to go with you, or at least help you pick them out. Or hopefully your girlfriend has a Pinterest page with some rings on it, and that's just okay, because then you can't fuck it up.
True. I'm sorry to cut you off. This is the thing I question though. Can he even get into the Pinterest page? That's a whole other obstacle we've got now, where it's like I literally had to send him the invite on Pinterest because it's a locked page or whatever, private page. Then he never accepted it, and then I had to go in his email and open a Pinterest for him and accept the invite because I was like, we're not doing this. Like, you please just follow the rules. Follow the rules.
Women, have to be wise enough to know that they have to take it that far for the man to take it the next step and actually execute on that plan.
And
or end up with a shitty gift, i.e. wedding ring.
If you think that I'm psycho, I feel you. I'm understanding that while I'm speaking. But
I think that's being a realist and understanding what your expectations are and allowing your partner to know what those expectations are. And then, hopefully they don't get you some fucking Safeway plan.
Or a Safeway ring.
Yeah, exactly. I said that would have been much better said. Thank you. A Safeway.
You could always get me animals as a gift.
I'm gonna find a Safeway ring and propose to you with that.
I would actually enjoy that though. Like, if you did a gag proposal, as long as the proposal was real, I would find it pretty great.
What would you do if I prank proposed to you though?
And then retracted it?
No, just kidding. It's
retracted
a 25-cent ring.
Oh.
Kind of.
But would the proposal be real?
No.
Oh, I'd be mad. I don't think I'd be mad. I think I'd be shocked and cry because I'd be embarrassed. I'd be like you've seen me do stuff like that. I'm like a small child where I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my God, oh.
I don't know. I think it's funny when you see viral videos of couples who prank each other and shit. I'm like, that would get old.
Yeah.
I feel like you're just breaking the other person down for so long. Although, you did get me once really good when you dumped water on me in the shower, cold water in the shower.
I need to find that video.
That was a really good one.
That's a great one.
I laughed about that.
That's classic. Steven was like, it's pretty straightforward, but the best thing is that we got a quote out of it that I can't get over. This was a year ago. He just got so surprised that instead of screaming, "Get out of here," he screamed, "Out of here!" exactly like that. And the video was so short, it just went on repeat of, out of here, out of here, out of here.
So I don't know if you've ever had like super cold water thrown on you in the shower, but pretty much any water that's not warm or hot when you're in the shower is super cold. And Holly had the foresight to videotape it while she threw cold water on me in the shower, and I had no reaction other than that. And as a video, it's priceless and will live on forever. But as an experience, it's terrible, horrible. So go do that to your partner and figure out how strong your relationship really is.
Mm-hmm.
Also take a video and then send us that.
Oh yeah, definitely take a video. I was really glad that I didn't get your hoo-ha in it so that I could...
Keep the private parts out.
Yeah, so that I could
Nobody's
actually...
interested
Well, it would
in
have ruined it. If,
Right.
You know, I couldn't post it.
And then you
'cause-
got to cover it up.
Yeah. Well, and then it's moving around, so
Yeah.
how do you do that?
Like plain emoji, pin on the Instagram, all that. It's too difficult, you know.
Yeah, it's
Too much.
of
That's
a
too
thing.
much work. We're not those types that get super into all the posts with all the magical effects and all that.
I
We're
get
kind of
tired
just like,
thinking about
this
it.
is what happened. This is what it was. Here it is.
Mhm.
Like it or not, take it or leave it.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles. And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
That was so good. I was thinking that in my head, but I was like, I can't pull that off. But you
I
were
want
already
to try
on
it like 3 more times, but I'll do it later. In the
We'll
mirror.
practice in front of the mirror later.
Oh my
together.
god. I posted this on Instagram stories yesterday, but my mom texted me yesterday. Did you see what she said?
No, I saw the story, but I didn't actually read into it.
She texted me, and my mom just got a haircut and I had curled her hair, which this makes it sound like I gave her like a Jerry curl or a perm or a Shirley Temple situation. Yeah. I did not. It was so cute. But she said because it's shorter, she's been waking up with it all curly and crazy. She said, I just stopped and looked in the mirror at my short curly hair and said to myself, I'm Rick James, bitch. I'm like, imagine your 60-something-year-old mom texting you that. Guess what I just said to myself?
The
in
best
mirror?
thing about knowing your mom is knowing that she honestly woke up, saw that, and was like,
And said out loud.
I'm Rick James, bitch.
I'm Rick James, bitch.
She was dead serious. No, that's the best. That's just who she is.
She really is hilarious.
That's classic. That's iconic right there.
That is iconic. Little Debbie.
Little Debbie.
Little Debbie, bitch. Oh, wow. Well, 45 minutes later, let's go back to the topic of Steven talking about big things coming up for us. What else you got? Oh, yeah? What else you got?
It was the 20th episode. And your
What
birthday.
else? My birthday, you know what else? Speaking of all the other things we've just been talking about. It's important.
That's why dudes are terrified to answer any question. Because they have
He's
all the
biting
wrong
his nails.
answers. I'm like, please don't punish me.
Think. You can do it. What is happening in April? It's a big month for us. Yeah. And we're losing him, folks.
We have our 5-year anniversary.
Good job.
Like how I
Gold
said
star
that
for
with an
you.
emphasis on the question. We have our 5-year
You know
anniversary.
exactly when it is. And we're going to Kauai.
Yeah.
Dingus.
No, we got a big trip coming up.
Were
and
you
that's-
faking all of that? Be honest.
I was trying to get a rise out of you a little bit.
Okay.
Just to let people know what kind of suffering
Monster.
I'm dealing with day to day.
Tell me.
Answer correctly or you shall suffer. Yeah, we got a big Kauai trip coming up. Also, it will be on our 5-year anniversary, so that's really exciting. It's a nice getaway from work and all the stresses of the daily life. I've been working a shit ton, and that's been kind of stressful for us, not getting to see each other a lot, and me just being exhausted when we do see each other. And
Well, how many hours were on this paycheck? Well, not on the paycheck because in the last week you worked. Did you get paid for like the hours up until yesterday?
No. So
Right,
the way
that
the
goes
actual pay period broke down, it was just under like 140, which is almost in 2 weeks. It's like
70 hours a week.
yeah,
But you,
which is
this
almost
last
2
week, I
full-time jobs a
fucking
week.
counted. In the last 7 days, you worked like 120 hours,
So it
which
was
is absolutely berserk.
yeah. From the time I leave home until I get back, it's like 14-hour days, and it was like that just this last week for like 7 days in a row. But I actually looked up all of my hours that we track, and my last day off was a Sunday, and I think it was Sunday the 14th, and before that was a Saturday, and I had worked that Saturday. So I had one Sunday off, the 14th, middle of the month, and then the 15th through today, which is the 30th, I haven't had one single day off, and a majority of those days have been 10 to 14-hour days. So my paycheck was substantial, and I'm very glad for that. We just finished up a huge project, is why I was up against a tight deadline, and sometimes you just got to do what it takes. Like
Yeah.
if I am not the one to get it done, nobody else is gonna step up and get it done for me. I'm kind of the last straw when it comes to finishing projects on time, managing the quality, and so we managed to pull it off though. Super, super fine remodel, and I'll have all that stuff on my Instagram and business Instagram if you guys want to look into that. But yeah,
Really
that
proud
was
of
that
you.
was pretty fucking nuts.
I'm like annoyed by a lot of it, but also really proud of you.
Yeah, no, it's hard when I come home super late and you're already, exhausted and have already started to wind down, and I come home and I'm still going, and like, yeah, I gotta wind down then, and we're just totally in two separate places. It's kind of difficult, but
I had a
the
meltdown
reward,
yesterday about it.
the reward on the backside of that is nice for me, anyways, because financially it's super rewarding, and clients are happy if you make their deadlines, but the girlfriend isn't always happy. So
Yeah, but we're going shopping this weekend.
and we're going to Kauai in a month. So
Yeah.
it's all right.
And
You
get
gotta
to
look
be
at the
together.
macro. You gotta look at the macro. The micro things might be kind of hard or stressful day to day, which I wouldn't say I'm stressed out. I'm very much so happy every day and every night when I come home, even if it's super late, because I know I'm doing whatever it takes to make myself and my business successful. But it's just tough sometimes because you don't always get what you want out of your day. But on the macro side of things, might only be like that for a month or a week out of 3 months, or a couple weeks out of a year, and really that's not a big deal. So taking that as it comes and just kind of not being reactive to those situations and just pushing forward through that, like just keep your head on straight and get through it. You'll be good.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. Like, I really do feel that we're at a stage in our relationship. Like, I feel like I am the basketball wife that's like ride or die, like pre NBA career. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're like you're like about to get fucking drafted. It's like a no-brainer. You're gonna be majorly successful, but I've been here for the last 5 years. Like, I'm gonna be that bitch for life. Like, I'm here, and that way there's always like a loyalty between us, and also I get to see like, what you've gone through to come up, and I really feel that you're already like in the big leagues. You're really making it happen, and you are reaping the rewards, not just financially, but your business is thriving and getting extreme recognition through our town. Like, it's really nothing but up from here. I think I just sometimes get in my head about like, what if this is just the tip of the iceberg,
Right.
and then like this is how it just is forever,
Right.
and I can't say anything because like that's what's so tough about it. And I know you would here's the thing, you wouldn't say anything to me if the roles were reversed.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sitting here like, I want you to push, be successful, and have extreme ambitions, because that's one of the most attractive things about you, is that you're so ambitious. You have fucking goals and you meet your goals. You're not a shit talker. You're not like a striver. You are a dreamer that accomplishes your dreams, and very quickly. You manifest shit left and right. And you have a very unique ability to like make shit happen, and you're skilled at it. You know what the fuck you're doing. So I'm over here like, I could not be more proud. I feel so grateful that you are making shit happen for you and for us. You're building your life and our life. And then it's like, it's a bummer because on the other hand, I'm like, wait, I miss you. And I can't have it both ways. Like, I mean, in some ways I can, and I do. But I know that there are times like when I was upset yesterday about it, I kind of just gotta understand the big picture, like you're telling me, like, and I think the main thing is that if it becomes too much, like, clearly I'm gonna let you know. I think it's just for now, you are in a very critical stage in your career and you gotta fucking power through. And I have to power through too. So
yeah, I think we definitely have to make sacrifices in the short term for the overall well-being of ourselves long term. But like, we've already experienced having everything that we wanted in a relationship before we've experienced having everything we've wanted in our lives.
mm-hmm.
And I think in having that before you move forward, you can accept things coming and going differently in the future that aren't necessarily ideal, but just knowing that you already have everything in your relationship, so whatever comes is just, it's gravy.
Yeah.
You know, you just have that confidence and that trust in knowing that you're going to be taken care of and
right.
that you're cared for no matter what the situation is, because, you know, you might end up having to go off and do your own thing for 6 months at a time or 3 months at a time on your own, traveling, doing whatever, or if I've got jobs elsewhere where I've got to go do something and we have to experience that, we just already know that we've got everything we need back home, and it's not always perfect, but that's kind of just the way life goes. You got to go with it to get the most out of it.
Yeah, and
you know,
instead
you can't
of
force anything.
One of us sacrificing our careers for our relationship, like, I don't think either of us would be happy. We're both very career-driven people
Mm-hmm.
and just goal-oriented people.
Mm-hmm.
So even if we had millions of dollars plopped in our laps tomorrow, I think we'd both have goals. We would both keep like chugging away.
I want to start multiple businesses.
Yeah,
for sure.
like we would not, we wouldn't just sit here and be like, we don't work now. It'd be like, let's fucking get it. Like, we have the capital, so let's do all the career things we wanted to do.
Right.
But I think, instead of one of us abandoning our career to just maintain our relationship, it feels beyond incredible to know that we don't have to do that, and there are going to be things that aren't ideal, possibly like time wise with each other, but we can do it. And the other thing that is so important in that regard is that we don't have that jealousy factor going on, and we don't have like the super neediness factor. And it's tough for us to be away from each other. Hopefully that doesn't really have to occur all the time, but you're right. I'm just extremely grateful that we have what we have. And it's not like when things like this occur, it's possibly coming between us, putting a wedge between us, or testing our testing our relationship at all. So thanks for that, because it's huge.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of work recently, but honestly, I feel like I kind of live for that, and I asked for it. Like, I wanted more work, and I wanted more responsibility, and I wanted to be able to take more action and take more control of my own destiny, and to be able to say, I created this, I worked and dug my way out of the trenches to rise up on top. And so when I get shit piled on me from every angle, I kind of just take it as it comes and kind of just grin and smile, knowing I asked for it and it's being delivered. Now what I choose to do with that delivery is what makes all the difference in the world. Because at that point you can either turn and run away from it and say, nope, fuck that, I'm not into it, it's too much, it's too scary, I'm not hungry enough, or you can say, I'm gonna fucking eat all of this and keep keep going on what's coming. So I feel really, really lucky that I've continuously put out, the mentality of I want more work, I want more responsibility, I want a bigger business, and it's being delivered, and that me putting in 14-hour days, which honestly on the grand scheme of things isn't enormous. There's people out there who will shit on that. They'll work 16-hour days every day, just no question. There's people that work their fucking asses off just to make ends meet.
Yeah,
just to
you're
eat.
right.
And so like when I'm working like that, I feel great at the end of the day. I come home to a nice place, I'm comfortable, I have a happy, loving girlfriend. I feel really content in doing that because it feels like I really earned what I deserve, which is a good life, comfortable life. That's not saying that I deserve all the amenities in the world and all the riches. I just deserve to live well, eat well, be happy. But after working that much, I really feel like I'm earning what I'm getting, and what I deserve even more than that is also coming to me because I'm putting forth the groundwork for that.
Hell yeah.
So
You're an inspiration to us all.
I've been just super hungry to get into more work and to have more workload and more responsibility and to grow my network and my resources, and it's happening day to day, but it just takes putting in 14-hour days. And that's what's kind of funny, is that's what separates a lot of the people who say they want all these things, but they're not doing anything, from the people who are saying they want all these things and doing every single thing they can to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm just hungry because of stress.
It's it's been nice. I've really not been too stressed out. Like there's some points where I'm like, fuck, this is a lot. But honestly, more than anything, recently I feel like I've really developed myself into being able to just make decisions and not overthink things. Because before, I think I've always been wrapped up in thinking about decisions.
Yeah.
Before I do anything, I just stop and think about everything and every possible outcome and what's the right decision. And lately I've been able to get into just making a decision. If something needs to get done, just do that thing. You don't have to think about everything and try and map out every little thing. It
really was an extreme sport for him too, you guys.
If you're doing one thing instead of thinking about doing all these different things, you're making more headway.
Right.
And so that's something I've definitely had to overcome. I would sometimes be paralyzed by these trying to make thoughtful decisions and what's the best decision and what's the best move, instead of just one thing that needs to get done, getting that done.
Yeah.
So that's been super helpful recently, is trying to make sure that I'm just doing things, even though I might not be making the best decision, it's better than making no decision.
I am
so
fucking proud of you. We should gauge how many times I say that in these episodes. But I mean it, and that's a huge point of growth for you, because it was hard for me to watch your incapability of making decisions, where it was like, just make a decision.
Yeah.
And I'm an Aries, so I'm very much like, yeah, fuck it, I'll make whatever decision sounds right in the moment, which can also be damaging. And you as the Libra are constantly weighing things out, and it is the smarter way to go in a lot of times, but it's true. What you said was dead on. Making a decision is better than that might not be the best, is better than making no decision at all. I'm pretty sure Brene Brown talks about that in her seminars on perfectionism and how paralyzing it can be. That was a cool sound you just made there. And yeah, oh, there it goes again. It's fucking awesome. And I don't know, I'm working on being as proud of myself as I am of you. And soon, I bet I will be.
Well, I think you have to accept every win as a big win, and just take losses as they come as a learning experience. Because for everything that I lose at, I know not to do it again. Because there's a lot of things with scheduling or with different materials. I have to learn how to use a million different materials to figure out which ones are not right for certain jobs. And so at some point you have to know which ones are applicable in certain situations and when you can and can't use them. But you can't necessarily say that picking one time was a mistake or you fucked up. It's a lesson. You learn something and you can take that forward and know that you have information and ammunition now. So
I'm very excited to see you when you're like 40. I just can't believe like where you're at 26 years old. It's fucking mind-blowing, not only to me but everyone else that meets you is like, holy shit, where did this guy come from? Like, you very clearly were a really advanced human being in the last few lives you've had, and now I feel like I can feel it in my bones that this is the life you showed up and said, I have gathered some motherfucking skills and I am ready to dish them out to the world. Like, you showed up and knew what the fuck you were and what the fuck you wanted. And you have been making it happen. You truly are Big Enigma. DJ Big Enigma.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back.
I have never met anyone like you. And that's like, I just feel so lucky every day that I get to be around such a big enig. That probably didn't sound like
I love that.
Not shorten it.
That's indecent disclosure for you folks. You asked for it, you got it.
I feel so fucking honored, but also like I wish you could see yourself through my eyes, because it's like watching some superhuman force just like power through the world, and it's like, what the? Are you sure you don't have like some kind of super powers? Super pures? You got the super powers? Stuart?
Well, I mean, to me it's crazy because here's the thing. I think we all have a frame of reference from our youth and who we are as children and even young adults. We couldn't look at ourselves 5 years in the future,
right? But
we can look at ourselves 5 years in the past. And the thing that I do day in and day out is think about where I want to be 5 years in the future, and I actively do the things that my future self would appreciate me doing, even though it's super difficult and maybe even exhausting and, you know, just completely depleting, but you work through that. Think about yourself in 5 years if you totally work your ass off completely, entirely, as hard as you can, every day, day in and day out, from today until then. Your future self is going to thank your past self so much, but like, you have to kind of suffer through those harder times to get to that next point. You have to kind of give some things up in the present to get what you want in the future. You know, and I'm just willing to do that. It's late nights, it's hard days, it's a little bit of stress, you know, and even then I'm really not that stressed out. Like I said, I'm super happy about all the stuff that's coming to me.
You've been waking up in such a good mood.
I usually
coming home in such a good mood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing for me.
I don't have time for negativity or complaining. I really don't. Like I said, I asked for all this, and I think that's one really, really important point. When you ask for a greater life, the universe is going to provide you opportunity. If you don't take advantage of that opportunity, you're not really asking for a better life.
Yeah.
You're just saying and thinking you want things, but not acting on that, and that completely negates you saying that you want a better life. The universe is going to understand that you don't really want a better life, and you're complacent and content with where you're at. Which is fine if you're happy, but I'm just saying, if you want a greater life, like, you got to go out and get it. It's not going to land in your lap.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this doesn't totally align with what you're saying, but I saw a quote the other day that, you know, it's pretty common to see stuff like this. That's like, act as if you already have what you're trying to manifest.
Yeah.
And I think that is more than anything of a mental space. It's not meant to be taken literally, where it's like, how am I supposed to act like I have a fucking Lamborghini if I don't have one in my driveway?
Right.
Like, okay, you know, we get it. You don't need to be in your car pretending that you're driving a Lamborghini
right.
necessarily. But it's that constant visualization of who you want to be, but acting truly as if that's who you are now.
Right.
And there's a huge difference if you really are able to understand what I mean by that, then you've got it. Because if you're someone going, that doesn't make any sense, like challenging that in a literal way, okay, well, fucking think about it, because that's what really. And so my friend and I were having a great conversation today about this topic somewhat, which is like, we're constantly talking about in life, I mean, like, everyone is constantly talking about how to get to enlightenment and how to become a better human and how to manifest everything you want, and it all comes down to like dropping your ego or taming your ego, right? But really, like what we were talking about, you know, is our ego is not necessarily a spiritual aspect of ourselves.
Right.
It is something that tethers us to earth, because it's our primal instinct.
It's a societal construct for survival.
It is that, yeah, and it's even an evolutionary construct for it. Our ego is something that holds all of our past experiences and then gives us warnings. Remember when that person screwed you over? This person's acting similar. Don't do this. Don't do that. Or remember when you failed in the past? You're going to fail again. And while that ego typically is what we think of as a nagging thing, it's also a survival mechanism, as you said. And I think the difference there is like letting go of the ego isn't about just suddenly being this ball of light that has no worries, and like you are untethered from this earth.
Right.
It's more about saying thank you for protecting me, but I fucking know I'm gonna be okay, and I'm carving a new path.
Right.
And when you allow that to be your drive, your ego, so to speak, doesn't come in as strong, because you trust the unknown. You have faith in the unknown.
Absolutely.
And you don't let those survival mechanisms be the things that hold you back. You say, you're right, I have experienced those bad things, but now it's time for me to, like jump off the cliff, so to speak, and like hope that there's daisies, not crocodiles, beneath me.
Yeah, no, I think your ego can generally come from a place, or you're inflamed, and excessive ego can come from a place of insecurity. And so when you're willing to let that down and accept what comes and deal with it honestly, you stand to reap a lot more reward, whether that's with human interaction, in business dealings, you know, in relationships. I think, you can really just put all bullshit aside and say, I'm gonna honestly confront whatever comes up, deal with it, and just trust the universe. And that's been a big thing for me, is just knowing everything's going to work out the way that it needs to. Right. And if that means I have to take on a shitload of, you know, work or things that I don't want to, but I do it anyways because I know it means I can come out on the other side, knowing that I did those things, and I feel better now because I did those things and kind of not necessarily suffered. I don't believe you have to suffer for the, you know, the greater things, but if you work through those things, put yourself in that realm and in that space where you kind of had to deal with tumultuous times or feelings, you can come out on the other side as long as you know that through those things you reacted accordingly and did not overreact or become a different person or let yourself go or let your ego really blow up. Right. You'll feel so much better knowing that you dealt with things accordingly, peacefully and unegotistically, to where your position on the other side is just positive and it's pure. You did what you had to do and it's all pleasant after that.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing about it is, look, if you're, and this is coming from a place of personal experience right now that I'm currently in. When you have something unknown facing you, which I guess this is something I am really proud of myself for right now. I'm really in a place right now where I'm like, I have no fucking idea what's next for me. I've felt very blind to my future for the last year. And I think a lot of us have, but it's been this beautiful feeling like I did a meditation on this back in October, like out in the forest, and I have a strong connection to.
I love you remember the month.
Oh yes, I remember
Again,
it.
women remembering dates like crazy.
Well, this was very important.
Yeah.
And I have a very strong connection to red-tailed hawks. That's like a very, very deep connection for me. And so when I meditate in nature, I always say, Hawk, where are you? And sure enough, I'm not exaggerating, every time a red-tailed hawk starts flying above me. And I will ask Hawk whatever I need to hear. And what I did this day was, I wasn't hearing anything from the angels I was asking to hear from. So I asked Hawk, and I wrote blindly in my journal, like just out of this meditation. I didn't think about it, I didn't edit. And what came out was, some things are so big that if you see them, you'll talk yourself out of them before they can manifest.
Right.
And I wrote that down and went, holy shit. Because I was asking Hawk, what is coming for me? I have no idea. I feel so lost. I thought I knew who I was and what I was supposed to be doing, and now I just feel completely mixed up. And it feels like something, I'm on the precipice of something huge, but is this my ego saying, you got this, girl? Which is funny because we just described that ego is the opposite of faith, right?
Right.
So I guess not my ego. Is it my faith saying, you've got this, just keep hanging on. And then my ego is coming in and doubting that, saying, you're being an idiot, go get another job, like, pay attention.
Right.
You're being really frivolous. Yeah, you're being frivolous and thinking this is all gonna work out. So it's now been a year of this constant not knowing what the fuck is coming, yet hints of things are coming. And it's like, okay, oh wow, like things that are seemingly too good to be true and then keep unfolding. It's like, wow, it's still unfolding. And the truth is becoming known. And every single affirmation, reading, everything that comes up, messaging from hawks, my ancestors, like everything is like, keep waiting, hold the faith, hold steady. And that patience is so hard to have because it feels like I'm out in a desert, like watching the last bit of water dry up. Yeah. But I still am holding out faith that a big storm is coming. Yeah. And I'm camping beneath where a waterfall will be. And it's like the little one bit of water left is just half a mile away. You could get there pretty easily, but you're not going to be that fulfilled from it. And I'm holding out faith for this waterfall. But I know it's fucking coming. That rain is right around the corner and I'm so ready. And I think that's what I'm very proud of myself for, is like, and for you. We've both worked hard. We're not sitting here just like, you especially, but we're not sitting here doing nothing. Like, we're taking action. But even if you're taking action in a direction that you don't know exactly where it's going to lead, if it feels right, keep fucking going. Yeah. And if it feels wrong, okay, take another direction.
Well, and I think what truly defines us is how we act in those times of opportunity and whether we really take advantage of that waterfall or if we're just okay with just going to that little drying up, pond that's going to eventually go away and then you're going to have to move to the next pond. Or when the waterfall comes, if you're really going to take advantage of that, make the most of that opportunity and continue to move forward, because think about how fulfilled you'll be with the waterfall versus the pond. And if you continue to take advantage of how fulfilling that waterfall is and moving forward with that and forward from that, you're never going to look back on a pond again. And so people that are complacent and content with the pond, that's fine. Again, as long as you're happy, but you got to go for the waterfall. You do. Even if you fail and you lose, look to the next waterfall, not the pond. I mean, that's what we're doing.
Using this,
that's what we're doing. It definitely feels really good.
Sorry, we both got excited. Yeah. I'm gonna keep letting this roll too, because I think another part of this that plays so well into it is when you are in a desperate situation, like out in the desert, you see that pond, you go, okay, I can get to it pretty quickly. It's going to be fucking hot to get there. I'm barefoot, but it's there. I can't wait around forever for this fucking waterfall. Even if God came down and told me, I swear to you, honey, it's going to be here.
Right.
Just wait, keep holding out. You're going to survive. You're going to be okay, and then you'll see. We have this human tendency to go, no, I got to do this, the survival one.
Absolutely.
But then when you're at the pond, you become so disillusioned because you haven't sustained enough. You haven't fulfilled yourself. You've gotten just enough to survive, but you're now hallucinating, right? So the pond is not anywhere in sight. There's heat waves coming up from the ground. You don't know which direction you came from. So suddenly you're stuck at this fucking pond and you missed your chance. And like you said, there's always going to be more things ahead. But like, I think everyone in that situation regrets not just holding out and trusting, having faith.
So I think I'm the kind of person that would rather wait on a waterfall and end up losing and not having it come and learning from that and moving forward than chasing something that was way easier to get a hold of and being less content with that thing. I would rather go for broke. Like, I'm not a gambler. I won't go to a casino and go for broke and like throw my bank account down, because after that you're really fucked. But
that's different. This is a game of faith. This is faith and trust that your path will always be.
And even I would rather lose betting on a waterfall than find even a small stream. I would, because I'll pick myself back up again and I'll go chase the next waterfall and the next one and the next one without fail.
What they say, right?
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I would rather fail, trying to find my dream and making it a reality and force myself to have to get back up if I lose and figuring out something else, or changing my plan and strategy a little bit and then redoing it again and again and again than just settling and being complacent and content. And I think that's super important. And if you're not doing that, like, figure out small ways to adjust your life so that you're more in line with that and pointing more towards that so that your life path is headed in that direction. It doesn't have to be a dramatic change or a drastic difference. You don't have to quit your job and say, fuck that, I'm going to go be, a ballerina in, the Broadway 40s. Shows of New York. I'm not saying go do that, but just slightly align yourself with the win a little bit more, because it's way more worth it. It's way more work, but it's way more worth it. So.
Yeah, and I guess I think we should probably end here.
Yeah, you guys are probably real tired of us.
Yeah, probably had to split
listening
this
to us
one
ramble.
in two.
We might.
So to tie that together, as we talked about in the beginning, keeping that vision strong in your head, like, that's the best thing you can do. And just, it reminds me in a way of like the gambling, where let's put it in the game of life though. So for instance, you don't go buy a lottery ticket and go, I'm going to fucking lose. I'll buy this, but it's stupid.
Right.
You want to always embody the feeling of winning.
Yeah.
And get yourself fucking hyped up.
Yeah.
And while you're in that state, go buy the lottery ticket.
Yeah.
And you know what? Then if it doesn't work out, you go, I'll buy another one.
Right. Exactly.
But you embody that feeling, and it's the same thing with life. You embody that feeling of who you want to be, and that's the visualization. That's what we mean by live now how you want to be living in 5 years. Right. Like, act as if you've already manifested what you're currently trying to manifest. And you do that by embodying the feeling. Right. Because there is no stronger way to attract what you want out of life than feeling in alignment.
Absolutely.
That is the way to be the middle of the magnet, I guess, that's like bringing everything in. So
absolutely. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Yep, that's why I wear sweatpants and
That's why we wear matching tie-dye sweatpants and sweater.
Yeah.
So we're fucking winners, alright? I am the Big Enigma.
Winners. Yeah.
Now we just need to find Holly's DJ name.
Yeah, he is the Big Enigma. And I am something else that we'll find out on another time.
Send us all your DJ names
names
for yourselves, for Holly, all your band names. They have to be kind of off the wall, you know? Some that's not, obvious. We're not actually trying here. They just happen. So just let it happen, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, find us on Instagram, Indecent Disclosure Podcast, YouTube, Indecent Disclosure Podcast.
Yep.
Me at Stephen of Flagstaff, Holly
White Health.
And we'll just be looking forward to joining you next week.
Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review, please. Love you guys.
And enjoy the rest of your week.
Ciao.